Welcome back to Mark Holova's vlog, everyone. Thanks for joining in. And you know what? I know I jinxed myself last week because I actually said every single time that we're doing the vlog, the sun's shining and everything's green. Well, lo and behold, as you can see, it's not green anymore. We have a lot of snow on the ground. Obviously, the graders have already been through here plowing all the snow that we had on the street here last week. And all I've been doing is shoveling every single day. It's been shovel, 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 but that's okay. That's what we signed up for here. They were hardy Canadians, and honestly, living in northern Alberta definitely is a place where we have to get used to shoveling snow. We have to get used to some of the harsh conditions, and quite frankly, you know, there's places right now going through much more intensive hardships. We see it all over the globe, and I even look at our neighbors in British Columbia over there in Vancouver are getting absolutely annihilated, and it's a sad, sad state of affairs because they're getting to the point where all the flash floods are washing away roads, washing away signs, and washing away everything. Buildings are getting flooded, and the worst part is bridges are getting destroyed. You can't get ships into shore as well as you can't get products outside of Vancouver. And now, obviously, even some of the things that we take for granted here in Alberta come from Vancouver because that's a major port, and they can't get things out. So I know supply chain's going to get destroyed even worse. As bad as it's been, it's only going to get worse. Anything typically coming from the West Coast is going to be nasty. But that just brings me to today's topic. Obviously, with this inclement weather, we all deal with different types of weather. I know in California, they've had some really intensive weather from, you know, flash floods there as well, and big forest fires, and, you know, honestly, lots of impacts around the globe. Doesn't matter where you live, you seem to have your cross, and you have to bear that as well. But today we're going to talk on a positive note. Why? Because yes, we're car people, that's what we do. But when the weather's like this, do we really get out and drive our cars all that much? Well, we can, and as I said before, I drove my Jag a little bit last year in the winter, and I fully have intentions to driving it through the winter this year as well. So I really do hope to continue enjoying the car throughout the winter. But with that said, it's never as fun to drive in these yucky conditions. I mean, who wants to drive your fancy sports car on icy roads like this and risk other people crashing into you or you crashing into somebody else? That's always a bad scene. And so let's talk about some of the things today where I've been. I mean, we all have those things that we like to do if we're not driving our car. I mean, unfortunately, with what's been going on in today's world, traveling has been much more difficult, but now we're starting to get back into that. And I see a lot of people are starting to get on planes again, although coming back and the restrictions, it's still a bit of a challenge. But nonetheless, I want to share with you guys some of the things that I've done in my past. Actually, I've traveled a lot of places, and as a car person, it's always on the front and center for me. I mean, I love doing road trips to California, Vegas, down the West Coast. I've been down to Florida, all over the US, just because I like driving. And even if it's just getting on the highway, interstate, listening to your favorite tunes and just give her, I love that too. But I love hitting the twisty roads, and I have some of my favorite roads that I've discovered. Obviously, the Pacific Coast Highway in Southern California is one of my favorite spots. There's a lot of great roads down in the States, but in Canada, there's some interesting ones as well. But more importantly, we did a vacation to a place called Azores, or I know I've foobarred that. For anybody Portuguese listening to me say that, I know I messed that up. But we've been to Azores. I've been there twice, and my wife's from there. It's a small cluster of islands in the Atlantic Ocean, just halfway, essentially 2/3 from Canada to Europe, and they're Portuguese islands. I've been there twice. The first time many years ago with my oldest daughter, who at the time was only a few months old, and this last time a few years ago, we went there with the whole family, all the kids, my wife and I and her parents, and we all went down there and spent about a month and a half. And honestly, I can't speak highly enough. You talk about some of the best driving roads, they're amazing down there. You get downtown, it's a place you probably generally want to avoid, although it has that sort of charm. When you go downtown to Ponta Delgada, which is on San Miguel, it's that island, and you get a lot of cobblestone, you get narrow roads, it's very, very difficult to drive through there with anything wider than, you know, a Honda Goldwing motorcycle. Downtown is always fun. There's lots of festivities. A lot of times there's free concerts going along, and people are always just abuzz, sitting around having, you know, your sip of your favorite wine and cheese and some, you know, a little bit of bread, just chilling out, do a little window shopping, just strolling around on the ocean front. There's really nothing more exciting for me. Once you're done, you've parked the sports car or whatever for the day, that is absolutely amazing. To take a stroll downtown, again, Ponta Delgada or someplace like that, it was one of my highlights, one of my highlighting experience. And don't get me wrong, I've been to a lot of those other great places. I've been to, Jamaica, and I've been to Mexico, Cuba, a lot of great Caribbean spots, and I've been to Hawaii a couple of times. But quite frankly, the Azores stands out to me because it sort of finds the blend between subtropics as well as Europe. You find that blend, and then parts of it almost feels like Maritimes Canada because there's a lot of fisheries going on there. That's a big part of their industry. So it's always really interesting. So we had a look around, headed down some of the fisheries, checked the ports, watch some of the big ships roll in. They even have some outdoor public swimming pools right next to some of the big ship ports. And you can go down there and we stroll around and spend some time with the family and just have some good laughs, some good talks, really chilling like a villain, right? And then, not only that, there's some other great times. You get up in the back roads. Now, we had rented a few cars while we were there. We had a Seat, we had a Volkswagen Polo, we had some kind of van as well. It was a stick shift. I enjoyed driving that because the whole family fit in there. And it was manual, so it was kind of fun to tool around in. It didn't handle worth a crap, but it was a lot of fun. And so then we get up in the back road. So the father-in-law, he said, hey Mark, take this road, go left here, go right here. And we ended up going up some back roads because that's ultimately where he was from. He showed me some amazing back roads that I can't even begin to tell you how exciting some of those roads were. Now, these aren't the high-speed roads that we all see in North America. These are, the fastest you can probably go is about 80, 90 kilometers an hour. But there's so many twists and bends and ups and downs and blind crests and bluffs. And we end up finding some amazing roads up in the hills. You keep winding your way up some of the hills and you see all these flowered line roadways, and it's absolutely breathtaking. You see flowers that you've never seen anywhere. You see overgrown corn that you've never seen anywhere. You see trees and greenery to new levels that you've never experienced before. The hills and the land and the layout, it's absolutely breathtaking. Getting up there and you're looking down at the ocean, and all you see is, that rock side or that green mountain that just flows right into the ocean. It's absolutely breathtaking. And some of the scenery there while you're winding your way down the road is nothing short of just stunning and amazing. It is absolutely great. And the driving experience is like no other. You don't need to do 200 miles per hour. It doesn't matter. We do an 80 and you're ripping through the corners on two wheels. It's absolutely breathtaking and astounding. Also, we saw a couple of concerts while we were down there. A couple of times we saw the Gypsy Kings. They came down, they were playing a free public concert down in public. They didn't even bother. There was no sign up and pay all these funds. They just show up, set up a quick little makeshift stage, and away they went for the next 3 hours and played a free concert. Same with Nelly Furtado. Did you know that Nelly Furtado's parents are from a small village near Ponta Delgada? My wife's parents grew up very, very close to her parents. They all seem to know each other, and it's a beautiful thing. So honestly, we saw Nelly Furtado for €5 a piece. There was a few of us that went. How can you possibly go wrong? It's just the overall atmosphere. It's a different place. Everything in North America is about cashing in. Everybody's looking out for number one. Everybody wants to charge. I mean, look at the car prices these days. There's no shortage of people trying to take advantage of everyone else. But when you went there, there's none of that. People have time to talk to each other. People enjoy each other's time. They have time to sit down, have a glass of wine, shoot about the weather, and talk about all the latest and greatest things that they're hearing about in the news, which coincidentally there aren't a lot to report down there because nothing really happens. In my time there being 2.5 months, I can't even remember any stories that I heard where there's any significant crimes. Absolutely magnificent. Not only that, then we take a drive and we go to these places. There's a lot of sulfur that's pouring out of the ground. These islands are essentially a cluster of volcanoes, and as such you definitely still have that steam and sulfur that's erupting, and there's some areas that have an interesting odor. Of course, if you know the smell of H2S or that burning sulfur, there are areas that smell like that. But then they cook this corn that is to new levels, and it's just great. So they have the best corn I've ever tasted, but they actually cook some of their food. They wrap it in pouches, bury it in some of these hot molten areas, pull it out an hour later, and the food's cooked. So they do some really cool things. There's some amazing scenery, and this whole time I'm enjoying the drive because everywhere you drive, you have to drive for a half hour here, an hour there. But anyhow, after doing some of that visiting, we get up to the top of the hill, we switch back, and we see cattle way up high, thousands of feet in the air, and we're down all of a sudden, and we're looking down across. I'm at the top of this mountain, looking down at the island, and I can literally see ocean on one side, I can see the length of the island, and I can see ocean on the other side. I can literally see across the island from the top of the mountain where I was standing. Absolutely breathtaking, everyone. I can't express how exciting a time that was. Those are the things that I love to do. I love to travel, and I love to enjoy the fruits of labor, the fruits of life. And those are the things that really bring it all together, spending time with family and doing the things you enjoy. Some of it driving, some of it's eating well. And of course, we spend a lot of time on the beach. The kids and I and the wife, we all head down to the beach. We spent a lot of time down there splashing around in the ocean. We found some stingrays on the beach washed up, and we would literally head down to the beach almost every single day. Not only that, the way it works out, my wife actually has some relatives that let us stay in there. They had another home there on the beach. We literally stayed on the ocean. So when you're done and you're getting changed and getting ready to go out for the evening, you sit up on the back patio of the house with a cerveza or having a beer and just chilling and looking out at the ocean and watching the ocean waves roll in. I'd sit out there early in the morning, get up at 7 in the morning, and I'd pull up a stool and sit up on the patio, and you'd look down and just enjoy the waves. You know, we were literally oceanfront. There's nothing like that, folks. We don't live to that level here in North America. It's very, very expensive to own property, anything remotely oceanfront. But down there, living the dream for about a month and a half on the ocean was nothing short of spectacular, epic, and breathtaking all in one. So always spending time on the beach, and then going out for walks, and then going out for visiting. There was lots of visiting with relatives, and lots of big meals, and just getting out, walking around, touring around, exploring the sights and the scenes. Absolutely amazing. Nothing but great drives, good people, and a lot of good times. But I don't want to make it all about me, everyone. When the weather's ugly like this, not every one of you live in places like this. I know a lot of the viewers enjoy actually from watching from all over the globe, even say from California, places where they have sun more often than not. But if the weather's not agreeable, what are the other things that you guys like to do? And maybe, if you don't mind sharing in the comment section below, where are some of your favorite driving roads? For me, easily Pacific Coast Highway as well as the Azores. Hands down, some of the best driving experiences I've ever witnessed personally. So I'd love to hear your thoughts below. Where's your favorite vacation spot, and where's your favorite driving road? I'd love to hear each and every one of you. Thanks again for joining. Hope to see you guys real soon. Catch you then. Bye-bye.